Yogyakarta edition. Presented by S-House Collective at Langgeng Art Foundation, this exhibition marks the final chapter of the project International Journey, following presentation at CHAT, Center for Heritage Arts and Textile in Hong Kong, and Hong-Gah Museum in Taipei. Tidal Weavers Island Exchange explore water and textile as living archives that carry history of movement, trade, care, ritual, and social connection across coastal and island communities. Developed through residencies and collaboration with artist collective, weavers, researchers, and local communities, the project approached artistic practice as a process of collective learning, dialogue, and exchange. The exhibition brings together works that emerge not only from artistic production, but also from shared meals, daily routines, collective learning, and the friendship that develop along the way. In this sense, the exhibition is not only simply as a presentation of outcomes, but an ongoing conversation, one that continues through gatherings such as today's public talk. This morning, we are delighted to be joined by the curatorial team and collaborators whose perspectives have helped shape the conversation that underpin Tidal Weavers and extend beyond the exhibition itself. Please join me welcoming Ade Darmawan, artist and the artistic director of Tidal Weavers. Boleh rokok enggak? Terserah sih. Mizuki Takahashi, Director of CHAT, Center for Heritage Arts and Textile, Hong Kong. Silakan, boleh. 𝐏𝐤𝐜, Director of Hong-Gah Museum, Taipei. And Mbak Fitria Werdiningsih, representing Lawe Indonesia, who will share perspective from Lawe's ongoing engagement with Indonesian textile, craftsmanship, and knowledge tradition. Together, they will reflect on the role of textile as living archive, the possibilities of cross-cultural exchange, and the ways artistic practice can foster meaningful relationship across different places, communities, and forms of knowledge. Without further ado, please, Mas Ade, I will pass you. And before, I will, wait, ini gimana caranya? Ya, saya akan membacakan profil pembicara. Ya, Ade Darmawan is an artist, curator, and the founder and member of Ruang Rupa. Gitu. That's all. Okay. Mizuki Takahashi is director and Chief Curator at CHAT, Center for Heritage Arts and Textile. Gitu aja, that's it? Okay. 𝐏𝐤𝐜 is Director and Curator at Hong-Gah Museum Taipei. That's it? Okay. And then Mbak Fitria Werdiningsih, representing Lawe. Terima kasih. Silakan Mas Ade memandu jalannya diskusi.
Oke, thank you Mbak Fitria, Mbak Zoe, kakak ya, Kak Zoe dan dan Mbak Mizuki. Thank you everyone. So yeah, this is going to be a conversation, and let's make it more informal and more relaxed in is it Sunday? I don't. Saturday. Sorry, it's Saturday after a long night last night. I hope. No, I'm not hangover. I'm just. I hope you all already see the show. It's been a long process, and really happy that finally it's all gathered here, all artists and curators, with a host of S-House. Thank you very much for that. And I think we will in conversation on how maybe a few points Of course, it can be explored, and we'll see how it goes. But I will start with how actually every institution or every organizations that being institution positions in the broader ecosystems is either in Hong Kong, Indonesia, or Taiwan, or even Asia Pacific or global. If we may go on that, or even maybe we can share also like a lot of details on like each practices, the challenge, and also the questions and what can be envisioned for the future, and maybe also we can relate as well with this kind of projects like Tidal Weavers that we all involve. So I'm going to start to first to introduce each own practice and institution. Mbak Fitria.
series of products inspired by this edan-edanan dancer or the crazy dancer that usually dance in front of the bride and groom with the hope that we believe in Javanese wedding ceremony. There used to be like the evil spirit that sometimes disturb the event. So this dancer is a distraction. So the evil spirit won't disturb the one who have the event. So this is also a wish that everyone can be safe from that disturb of the evil spirit. And from the color of the crazy dancer, we transform it into this crazy color combination of products. That's how we work in our business side. And yeah, we open for any color. Thank you. I think that's a short introduction.
Thank you, Mbak Fitri. Really, is it? It started from 2000.
2004.
2004.
Yeah.
Congratulations. So it's already.
Next August will be 22 years.
Years. Wow.
In the business. Yeah.
I have two questions.
Yeah.
Just before I move to Mbak Zoe.
Yeah.
First, how? I mean, it's already 22 years, so
Yeah.
it proves that it works.
Yeah, with the ups and downs.
Okay. Now it's up or down?
So, to be honest, since the pandemic hits us, we didn't recover 100% yet. We still try to survive.
I just have one question with the economic model that you have. How can you share a bit more, or elaborate more, like how does it works from the sellings, and also is there any support, like is either from government, sponsors, or like other than sellings? I mean, like, and how many percentage the and how is actually you sort of like organize that? I mean, 22 years, it's quite long. So yeah.
Yeah, so the business side, so we work in both field, and the social and the business. Before 2019, our business is quite stable. So we can live with the selling. We can continue the organization with the selling. We sell well in the airport gift shop, and also.
Yeah, I bought one actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, my wife is actually.
Oh yeah. So yeah,
2 years ago.
It sell really well there, and also if there's like a organization who want to develop their own like a merchandising or gift shop, so there will be like a big order for that. That's a good thing in doing this. So the business is quite thrive until 2019 and early 2020, but since our product mostly addressed for a gift from Indonesia, and mostly our products sell in a gift shop, and there's no tourists coming during the pandemic. That's why it's decreased almost like 70%. And how we survive is, since the workers or our team in Lawe, we tell them the real condition of Lawe. So this is Lawe. The financial condition for now is like this. If you want to stay with us, we will be happy you stay, but the salary thing will be different. How we rearrange the salary on how much they will get monthly, and we let you choose. If there's better opportunity for you, feel free to leave. Like, we won't hold you in Lawe with this like a condition. But yeah, that's a business. But we now grow, try to bounce back since that dark era. So, but also that's on the business side. While on the program side, we got support from the donors, from the CSR of the company. So to run the social business or the program we have.
So it's more or less still kind of like a classic profit for non-profit cross subsidies.
Yeah, kind of
Okay.
like that. But we have two legal. So previously we only have the Lawe organization or perkumpulan Lawe to as our big as the umbrella of our legal, because this is the most gray area in Indonesia. Social enterprise don't have one umbrella legal to work in 2 feet, so we have to have two. While you have the CV or private limited and
Like PP,
foundation,
right? And foundation.
and
yeah.
foundation. So Lawe now has two legal, the private limited and also the non-profit organization perkumpulan Lawe.
Yeah.
That's
That's what happened with many also.
Yeah.
I mean, like including Ruang Rupa with Good School.
Yes.
That's also like we have one,
Yeah.
two, company and then association
Association,
and perkumpulan and foundation. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mbak. We'll go more later. So please, can we move to Mbak Zoe?
Not only people, but also the equipments are still waking up. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining us this morning. I think among all the speakers, my institution, Hong-Gah Museum, is the one that with the last experience of dealing with textile arts. And can we please go to our website? Yeah, I would like to take this chance to explain a little bit about the turning point that I mentioned yesterday during the opening. That Hong-Gah Museum was founded in 1999, which means that until this October, we will be like 27 years old. But before the museum, our founder, Mr. Andrew Chu, actually he started the foundation back to the 1990s already. And the foundation was at the beginning trying to develop the contemporary art thing in Taiwan, because most of the public museums which that we know by now, like the Taipei Fine Art Museum, the National Fine Art Museum, or the Kaohsiung Fine Art Museum, they were all built in 80s or 90s. So back to 80s or early 90s, for local artists, they don't really have that many places to exhibit. And his background, our founder, he's actually from an engineering background. Yeah. Which also is a very important industry for Taiwan now, all the semiconductor and those high-tech units. And so he started the foundation and host open go sessions for artists who want to present their works. So at the beginning of our museum, every year we exhibit a lot of exhibition, mainly solo exhibitions of emerging artists. They are all around 30s or early 40s. And after the exhibition, we collect their works so as to encourage them for further career developing. And it was, can we slide, no, because it's website. Yeah. So I will need assistance from technician to just naturally. Yeah.
Ini website jadi bisa like scroll down.
Just no. It just
Ah,
yeah.
just slide the.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as you can see, we're not a really big institution. We don't have our own building. We are on the 11th floor of an office building. But we still have a proper collection room and a exhibition room that supports us for all kinds of programs. And we also host like workshops or artist talks in our multifunctional room. Yeah. And now every year we host around 4 to 6 exhibitions, including still the solo exhibitions for emerging artists. And since I just mentioned our founder is from engineering background, so naturally he likes the new media art or video installation and those works that takes him to the vision of future. Yeah. For this example, I would like to change to next website. Yes, we started this Taiwan International Video Art Exhibition since 2008. At that time, like watching video in the museum gallery is still something unfamiliar for many audiences. Maybe you go to the museum to see paintings, sculptures, or all kinds of work. At the time, Andrew's thoughts, this is a media that we should promote. We should encourage this kind of new form in the gallery. So that's why we continued hosting video art exhibition for also like almost 20 years until 2024, 2 years ago. Yeah. And in this video art exhibition, we invited Taiwanese curators, and that set up annual theme. Half of the artists will be invited worldwide, sometimes also new commission according to the annual theme. And half of the artists, we set up open call. So from the example of the latest edition, we can also see artists from Indonesia. Yeah, but overall, within these 20 years, the art scene in Taiwan also changed a lot. Like at the late 90s or early 2000, video installation in museums are something new for the audience. But as we might know, I suppose we have a lot of art audience today. Nowadays, every biennial you go, you see a lot of videos. So we started to rethink about that. Is it still the form that needed to be promoted? Yeah. That's why we went through a lot of discussions with our founder and with our board members and decided to stop the video art exhibition. So the website that we are seeing right now is the latest, also the last edition of this video art exhibition. Yeah, and so it doesn't mean that we are not doing video anymore. Every year we still host a solo show for video artists. And another thing which is very important to us is the local study. Yeah, because Hong-Gah Museum is located in a volcanic area, Beitou. So nearby our museum, we also have a resting volcano, and we have the hot spring industry. And every year, I will invite artists to do the local study. We might go through the environment surrounding the museum and talk to the local people. And what we're seeing now is the exhibition that just opened last weekend. The exhibition is called Fingertip Rituals by artist 𝐿𝐮𝐥. So she is from Kaohsiung actually, and from an industrial area, because the south, Kaohsiung at the south of Taiwan is a quite industrial city. And she grew up in an environment smelling the sulfur chemical because of the industrial environment that use a lot of different chemicals. But she moved to Taipei for the University of the Arts, which is also quite close to Beitou, to Guangdu area. And she found that the smell that she is very familiar with, the sulfur, she can also smell that in Beitou. But it's the natural sulfur, of course, in our case. So developed from this memory of smells, she come up with the installation we just saw. Yeah, she melted the wax, which you can get also from the chemical process of a lot of industries, factories. Yeah, and she melt the sulfur powder inside the wax and make a installation like lava in reflection of the natural in our environment. Yeah. So for us, it's important that the museum stands at the position with the community. I mean, not necessarily within community, but in a more general, and artworks are also helping building up the way of understanding of locality. Yeah. So that's currently what we're doing, and come back to our stage. Why this time we decided to join Tidal Weavers project is because throughout all these 2 decades, we actually didn't have time to really explore or study on our collections because we've dedicated our space to local artists and to the locality studies. But we actually have a very fine Chinese embroidery collection, and that is something that we have been really put a focus on for so many years. So I think it's a very important turning point for us now to turn back to our own collection and to really study about textile, which we neglected for too long. Yes. So can we go back to the website, our website, and maybe have a click on the collection button? Previous one. Sorry for making this complicated.
No, yeah, and collection. Back lagi deh kayaknya. Ya. Ya.
Thank you. That means that you can also find all the information on our website. Yes. So as you can see,
I'm very lucky that I visit and then see in the real.
last time when Ade visited Taipei, we show him our collection room. Yeah, and they are very fine and delicate and some kind of art work that only existed in particular time. Most of the works, they are possible because of the early stage of the communist governing, because it's a very heavy labor work, and they're also facing, just like what Fitra mentioned, that younger generation are not really that interested in this very labor-consuming work anymore. Yes. Yeah, so I think it's very important for us to participate in this project because now is the timing for us to really start to learn more about textile and also to expand our capacity to textile, and also beyond our own collection, trying to gain more knowledge in general about textile. Yeah, so I just want to give a quick overlook of what we are, so that people don't misunderstood that we have been doing textile for long. We actually don't. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoe. Yeah. How's the response of the audience after or like during the Tidal Weavers exhibitions. That's one.
For our video lover audiences, this shift is quite sudden, right? Because even though we still do video art exhibition every year, and for them it's still quite a surprise that we started to promote our embroidery collection. Yes, so I think it's very important to be one of the members in this Tidal Weavers project, because somehow a lot of works in this project are actually bridging the traditional weaving and the contemporary art. And the idea of working together with weavers also become a core concept for us to think about how to promote our collection in the future, because you need to first get to know the knowledge and to respect the culture, and then to work to move further with it. Yeah, and to be honest, our embroidery collection show attracts times of the audiences than our video art exhibition. It's natural that general public or audiences enjoys this kind of very fine
Yeah, when I see that, that's like
works.
really
Yes.
the absolute fine art.
Fine, absolute
Really
fine
fine.
art. Yeah, you've seen that, so you know.
Yeah,
So-
maybe just if you see the picture in the website, the collection, that's actually is not painting. It's actually embroidery.
Oh, embroideries.
Yes, and like it's a super duper fine art.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe for thinking about the audience, if we calculate on numbers, I mean, of course, showing textile for me is a right direction for the institution for this change and shift. However, it's also very important to connect from what we have been doing to what we want to do in the future. Yeah, it's always important to appreciate the legacy that we have built up for around 30 years, right? Yeah. So what my strategy right now is to invite artists to study through our collection together and commission them new works related to our collection, so as to provide a different or new perspective to our very traditional collection as well.
Okay, thank you, Zoe. Shall we move on to Mbak Mizuki?
Thank you very much for coming Saturday morning. Hope everyone can keep some stamina for this afternoon. Could you switch to the slide of chat slide? I said, yeah, last year, actually. Sorry, excuse me.
Chat
Slide.
presentation.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you. I'm Mitsuki Takahashi. I'm the Executive Director of the Chief Creator of the Center for Heritage Arts and Textile. So we call the chat. So our museum is relatively young. So that we open. Okay. Okay. So we say chat is beyond the museums. So the chat opened in March in 2019. Housed in the former cotton spinning factory buildings, founded by the grandfather of the founder of Chat. So we have some collections, but it's not massive collection, so we hesitate to call ourselves as a museum. But we try to be functions more the platform for communities or community building. So the why, textile is the mother in Hong Kong. I also didn't know before I moved to Hong Kong. My background is contemporary art, and my background is not the textile. So when I got the offer of this job, I was said that, that we're going to open the cross-disciplinary art center in a former factory building. Sounds really interesting. But at the very first meetings, I realized that senior managers expected me to open like the industrial heritage museum. That was the challenge. But the building of the chat, now called the mills, the factory, cotton spinning factory like that. And why cotton spinning and the textile business was important in Hong Kong? Because now Hong Kong is known as a financial hub, but before 1990s, actually Hong Kong was the industrial center. So there's the three major industries. One is the textile, garments, and the second one the plastic, and the third one is the toy making. So if you ask the young people in Hong Kong and asking what your grandfather and grandmother are doing, so most of them actually engage with the textile business. But as it's the same like the textile traditions in Indonesia, young people no longer show the interest. It's textile. It's not relevant to me. Although this business has contributed a lot to make the Hong Kong as it is now. So, my homework was that how to address this legacy from my contemporary arts curators' perspectives. So this is our permanent gallery. We have the 3 gallery spaces. So one gallery is dedicated to narrate the Hong Kong textile industry past. But challenge was there was no object to display at the beginning. Because in archive practice, it's not developed in Hong Kong locals. And then, so I also want to mention that why textile was so big in Hong Kong. That's back to the 1950s and 1940s. After the World War over, and then in mainland China, Communist Party and the Nationalist Party started to fight each other. And finally, Communist parties kind of won the ruling positions in mainland China. So the many textile capitalists or factory owners fled to Hong Kong, which was under British rule. So that was the beginning of the Hong Kong textile industry. And then, but again, when China imposed the open gate policy, and many factories back to mainland China or moved to Southeast Asia to find the cheaper wage or cheaper labor or the cheaper properties for the factory. So then when I started to the planning the chart, there was nothing to display. That was the challenge. So, but that gave another idea. So why don't we put the people in the center, So that is also related to the name of the chart. So our museum should be stimulate the conversation and the dialogue and discussions among the people, rather than showing the old artifact in the frozen state, So therefore the big space in the middle of the space, we had many interactive stations, and we also engaged many retired textile workers to teach the spinnings, also the operate the machines, and then also the Industrial Heritage Museum is a quite new concept in Hong Kong. And then, so after the 5 years anniversary, people started to realize, okay, this is a place perhaps we can donate the items, so we can show our textile collection. So then this photo showing that the childhood of the textile in Hong Kong. So that we also did the open call to community to donate or submit the items they kept in their wardrobe or storage. And left-hand side, some small, children's clothing are all the handmade. And then, mom made for the 5 children, in the family, and then they kept them. And then they kindly offered to display in storage. from the stretch. So the fourth chat is a community is also very important. The chat is located at Chungwang. It's former industrial area. It's now it's like more satellite town for the local communities, and most of them has a very little experience visiting museum and a gallery, contemporary art museum. So we try to invite the communities to participate in art making process. So this is kind of show how we make the exhibition together. So in Tidal, we will show the artists and the VDs, and you guys make the artworks through the community participation also. So, and then creative experience for diverse communities. So textile has the beauty of tactility. So we take advantage of this tactile beauties, inviting with the blind community to create the patterns to make, or that we also engage with the ethnic minority group in Hong Kong, like the domestic workers from Indonesia, and also we expanded the community outside Hong Kong. In the Mandy's case, she learned the weaving from Mama Ling from the Maumere, and then I heard a very interesting story from Mandy. The young people in Maumere don't show the interest, inherit the skill from mom, because that's such a time-consuming work, right? So, but the Mandy, she came from Hong Kong and come to her workshop every day, from the morning to night, and that's kind of stimulate the curiosity among the young people. Why, the young artists, coming to Hong Kong and so enthusiastic, to learn the practice. So in the end, I heard that the Mama Lin's daughter finally showed the interest to learn. So that is a kind of the power, of the stranger to come to the local communities, kind of like, stimulate, the fixed traditions. And we also, they worked a lot with the elementary school kids, and they are so familiar with the digital world and without knowing that how the things are made. So we have the community program so-called C2 Textile. That is a farming to gallery practice. So we invite them to plant the indigo seeds and growing the sunflowers, and also the harvest in the summer for the natural dye, and together with the artists making the products and also the artworks to display. And we also, so the chat also, the contemporary art is very important. For us, the contemporary art is giving the new lens to see the lens of the heritage and the textiles. To begin with, the Asia has such a rich textile traditions, but I can see that everywhere kind of the struggle, how to extend the life, as said, during the COVID time, so we lost a massive number of the tourists. That is a hit the livelihood of the weavers. So there's some artists closely collaborate with the weavers. And so this is the 8 finalists of our second Contemporary Textile Art Prize, which is happening in the next March. So we have some criteria, of course, originality, idea, and the skill. But in our case, the skill is not about the weaving skill or embroidery skills, not like the mastery skill, but also talking about the skill to communicate. So to communicate with the weavers and the makers, how to respect, their knowledge and the skill, and also the history. So those 8 finalists, kind of touching all these kind of the criteria, and then always showing the very, very strong works. And one of the artists in the middle is Mela Yasuma. She's from the artist from Jogja. So the next time you have to come to Hong Kong. Yay. Okay, so I have some pictures of our travel, but perhaps we can, talk later. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mbak Mizuki. I have one. I mean, like before we move to the explore the conversation, just like one question. How do you manage the sort of like the expectation of the not only the public but like the contemporary art scene itself? Because like I think textiles, I mean we have conversation the other night, like they were like craft and arts distortion, or like the lines and so on, like this categorization, blah blah blah, I mean, like I think now more and more, right? I mean, contemporary art it's I think like for me personally, like textile is one of the practice that it's collective practice actually, and the problem with contemporary art, because contemporary art is very individualistic. So that's I didn't see that it's actually about the craft and arts, but it's actually more how they produce, like how the traditional, like the culture, like body culture that it's actually producing it. Like how does it works? How you navigate the, let's say, in curatorial way? Yeah.
Yeah, when we opened the chat, actually, we have said that, oh, no one interested in the textile arts of, it's so niche. And I think everybody, quite majority has a fixed idea of the textile or fiber art, which is perhaps related to the fiber or textile arts canon established in the 1960s. Like the Annie Arbors or the Magdalena Abramovich, those kind of, the fiber and the textile art. So recently we have started to the research projects, devising, this or reframing the textile arts or fiber art from the Asian perspectives. For me, it's also the museum classification is matters. We started to looking at, this is a kind of joint collaboration research projects with the curator from Singapore, Korea, Japan, and Hong Kong, and China. So we started to looking at how museum classify the textile objects. For instance, I totally agree with that. Like, okay, they are Indian miniature paintings painted on their fabrics. They are enter the collections of the artifacts in the Victoria and Albert Museum, or the British Museum, but they're not displayed in the other, the art gallery. Why? And how about the museums in Asia? It's the curators are also so confused. How the object in front of us should be categorized in as a textiles or craft or design or fine art. So what is the kind of the key points? So define the the ideas or meaning of the textile things. But I think that for me that is the interest point in working on textile. So textile is such a queer material and objects. Yeah. So we have to address that queerness. Yeah. So after that, right? I think, okay. So after 2019, we see the more and more in the textile arts, in the world stage. It's like a Biennale or the art fair, because artists also started to thinking about the textiles practice and traditions, actually the vehicle to carry their unheard voices. Yeah. So, yeah, I think we also not working with the textile artists working with the textile. We also invite the video artists or photograph artists, and learning how they see the textile. So we are a platform for the artists to think about the textile and exploring the textile. So the chat is a place to assist.
So it's actually more on like mentality or practice rather than a material. Yeah. So maybe it shouldn't be categorized. Otherwise, it's the queerness. Yeah, I think it has a natural being uncategorized because it's always being in the tension between art practice and life. In that tension, so it's I think it's interesting how it can like seeing as a life and then also as arts, so it's always an tension in between. Is it art or not? Which is I think that's become more interesting. So yeah, thank you, and I will broader the conversation, like involve conversation with all of you. If you have questions, something to share, something to experience, and so on, please come forward. Anyone?
Cukup.
Terima kasih. Oh mati.
Habis deh dong.
Oke. Terima kasih. Saya King sama Fitria dari Lawe, gitu. Tapi saya ada pertanyaan. Jadi kalau di kami itu programnya kalau kaitannya dengan dengan sekolah tenun, jadi memang lebih ke skill ya. Sebenarnya kami sempat juga ada program sedikit waktu itu mendampingi teman-teman di sana untuk bisa sama dengan tetapi untuk mereka yang ada di sana, untuk anak-anak itu sendiri.
Mas bisa dikencengin nggak ya mic-nya, suaranya?
Gitu. Nah, kayaknya menarik juga seperti yang dikatakan Mizuki untuk membekali mereka dengan kemampuan bercerita itu. Nah, itu mungkin bisa sharing nggak prosesnya di sana seperti apa? Ada cerita itu kan tadi ya? Ya.
Mbak Fitria mau nerjemahin?
Enggak.
Enggak, Mbak Fitria mau nerjemahin ke bahasa Inggris?
I think that she asked Mizuki and what we do in Lawe, we only usually share to the participants on our workshop is mostly technical, but not giving them the knowledge about how to tell the story. And she thinks, can you share about the process, how to share knowledge about the storytelling and with the participants?
Okay, we don't have any weavers. That is a big difference from your organizations. But for us, we try to enhance awareness about the textile, because the textile is so familiar every day, but so therefore people really don't see it, but this textile is so close to us. As Jintani said that she showed the two beautiful textiles inherited from her mom. All the textiles have some stories. So we try to kind of shift the way of looking at the textile. And also textile has a power to connect the people because it's related to everyone. So recently we have the guest artist, and she do the workshop with. Can I continue?
Ada Mbak Eni. Baterainya ya? Iya. Wireless. Itu kan pakai baterai yang bukan yang dulu gede.
Check. Check. Check, check.
Yeah, please, you can
Okay.
continue.
Yeah, our guest artists did a workshop in an elderly home and asking the elderly to bring the on the knit piece and asking them to the unravel. And then, yeah, so then the unraveled yarn we're going to use for the creations. And then, so this is such a simple works, but while they're unraveling, they start talking about the memories or some random things. And then they also feel they are still has a role in the society. So that is a quite important also. So, and because elderly people, they think, you know, they are unwanted anymore in the societies. But this is small kind of the work and the collaboration is also giving the opportunity for young people to, you know, to listen to their elderly, you know, the elderly. So that is what we are doing through the textile.
And the artist is how do you select the artist? And like, are they textile artists?
Sometimes textile artists, sometimes not textile artists. But
how do you?
Intuition. No, but I
So
think that
tacit
no.
knowledge.
Well, but there needs to be open mind, you know, because even there are some very famous contemporary artists using a textile. You know, when they approached, okay, we are the Center for Heritage Arts and Textile. They said, oh, I'm not a textile artist. Okay, they failed my test. Yeah.
So you have a test.
Of course, I don't say that it's a test, but yeah, somehow, yeah, I think, okay, how much they respect of the maker, you know, and they see that, okay, why they don't want to be categorized as textile artists, you know, that is a matter. Although they are using textile.
Okay, we can, yeah. You wanna add something that's actually yeah, please.
I think it's a very similar situation that I'm facing right now because ever since we started to put more focus on promoting textile art, of course, we also try to work with artists from different backgrounds or using different medium. And for them, it's a new approach with textile. And I found something very interesting that in Taiwan, we actually have quite strong fiber artist community. For example, one of the participating artists that we invited today in the exhibition, she has very strong knowledge and experience of using different natural fibers and dyeing. But most of the time, she participated in textile museums. She got invited to the exhibitions or project initiated by textile museums. But she is fully capable of very excellent storytelling. And also the way that she translate or interpret the knowledge from weaver with vocabulary that we use in contemporary art. So in Taiwan's case, I think it's also a challenge textile artists to please also just call artist. I think that is something that I would like to invite textile artists to rethink about. Why do you identify or recognize yourself as textile artist instead of I'm an artist or contemporary artist? That is, yeah, just the conversation just remind me of this.
Okay. Anyone would like to add some notes? Okay. Ini kayak, sorry.
I'm Ellie Kent. I just wanted to ask about, so you've been working, Lawe in particular, but also through this project more broadly, working with artists who are working with textile traditions, but also with contemporary artists who are working with innovative practices, and in your case with sort of entrepreneurial practices that are changing color patterns and the functions of textiles. So I'm interested in if you can speak to the tensions that there might be between preserving or maintaining knowledges or reviving knowledges about dyeing and patterns that have been lost, and then also working with changing the dyes that are being used, changing the patterns that are being made, using, I guess, entrepreneurial innovations versus reviving lost knowledges or documenting even. Yeah, that's essentially the question.
Okay. So yeah, in Lawe we are more doing this entrepreneur things, right? Not really artsy, not really working in the art, like fine art or art like the artist's work. So yeah, when we so the pattern that we develop mostly happening in Yogyakarta, the lurik one, the stripe, because it's easier to do with the just color combination or the width of each of the pattern. But while we work with the eastern part of weaver, it's a bit more difficult, because what they have when they keep the motifs, it's only in their head. They don't have the recipe or like a written, like a documented in books or something. That's why when we got supported in 2022, we visited the weaver in Biboki and meeting like 28 weavers. And also connected with the storytelling. Sometimes they don't know what kind of motifs they make. This is not all of the motifs. They still remember what it is. What they remember is that the grandma or their mother weaving this pattern, and they keep how they dyes, what ingredient, that's what they continue. So they're not really working in the newest motifs and everything. And the usage also of the special pattern in traditional hand weaving is more blurred than the batik motifs, the usage of it. So that's why when we develop finished product using the motifs, at least we try to make the pattern or the whole pattern complete. Like when there's like a gecko pattern, you put it in the whole bags, so you don't get only the tail or just the head. It's kind of different to explain what this motif is. So this is what we try to when we try to ask them or encourage them to develop the new pattern with them. We also work with the weavers in Wakatobi at that time, because there's a limitless or there's a pattern on wearing the special motifs, because for the women there's only the horizontal motifs worn by the women, but when there's like a slightly vertical motifs, that's worn by men. So that's the difference. And the edge of the fabric, the wider the edge of the fabric, kalau di sini namanya tumpal ya mas, the edge of the different motifs, the wider the edge of the fabric, that's worn by the royalty. But the less or the thinner the edge of the motifs, that's worn by the commoners. If there's rule in the usage of the pattern, we keep that traditionally, and there's also market for that. What we try to develop with the new motifs is when we try to target it like the young or the new market, more contemporary, and use it for the daily use. But for the traditional ceremony and something, they still keep it. So we work both sides, keep the traditional alive with the traditional pattern, but we also try to develop with a new one. Yeah, what is it?
Some motifs.
Yeah. But like this motif also, it's also open to turn it into like clothes or bags or pouch. So it depends on the maker of the shoer or the one who develop it into finished product. You wanna just put the whole motif or cut it effectively, not thinking about the whole motifs. Yeah, it depends on you. Yeah. Okay.
Anyone? Yeah.
We talked about this in the other day about this preserving the traditions, because we experienced a funny things. A couple of days ago, the artist and Zoe and I went to the batik workshops, and it's a very traditional workshop. Even that workshop produced the batik for the emperor, Japanese emperor, which is the shop guy told. Yeah. And then I was fascinated by all the motif, and asked, okay, what is this? He's really eloquent to talk about the batik and also workshops. So I asked many questions. What is this motif? What is this motif to symbolize? And then, he couldn't answer, but he asked AI to answer to my questions. So I think that is the AI answer. Very kind of give it a very vague, kind of the answer. Yeah, typical answer. But I think that is the matter. So as AI developed, if we ask the AI to read the compositions of the textile and patterns, I think they can keep it, even they can answer it. So then what is the human's role? That's what we discussed in the other day. Do you remember?
Yeah, I think maybe there's a few cases here that's actually also dealing, like Mandy and Alma also like really dealing with the process of motif makers, Weedy as well, and yeah, Enman and so on. I have mine as well. That's why actually, maybe just to add to this discussion, that's why it's really interesting actually how like the tension between like the preserving or like documenting, archiving, the so-called the tradition, which is can be also, of course, is constructed, right? What is tradition and what is not, right? Like there's a lot of stories, mythical constructions, right? And what is not. And like for example, just like little example in my work, as like actually I try to politicize the motifs or like the patterns, because I disturbing with like motifs or pictures being approached as a decoration or like just like symbols. So that's why actually from it really relate with your stories, because like many times I ask the weavers, they come up with different stories as well. So I was like, this must and many times it's also personal, and that's why I think it maybe it's not traditional. Maybe that's how contemporary artists is, you know, like also, you know, like relate to what their experience, like what's relevant for them as well. So maybe we are wrong all the time, seeing it as a maybe it's, I mean, like we can go on discussing what is tradition, what is not.
But the textile making is not all about the technique and engineering. Yeah. So sorry, could you go back to my slide? Mosh mosh.
Halo, V. Presentasinya chat. Is the operator is hangover. Halo. Udah dapat kopi susu belum nih?
No, I just wanted to show that some kind of working environment of the weavers. It's a landscape, and then Iru? No one? Okay.
Yeah, maybe we can.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Dapat,
For us, I think everyone participating in this project. I think they also understand where these traditions is coming from. You know, so even the patterns are coming from their nature and the surroundings and animals. It's all related to their environments. So I think so therefore, without this environment, I think that we cannot keep the tradition as well. Yeah.
So you mean, yeah, how the nature is actually very much or like really automatically connected with the culture. Like for example, the bamboo shoots motifs, for example. It's what about if there's no bamboo shoots anymore? Right.
So therefore, the others, your patterns and these new patterns are reflecting to today. You know, for me that is very important to make the textile and tradition survive. Sorry, I had to go down. Mata. You can see the beautiful sea. Go ahead.
Go down.
Scroll down. Yes.
Yeah, up.
Yeah. This is Marmalade. It's so beautiful. It's in front of the kahe. sorry, go down. Yeah, okay. Next one. Okay, Mamere. This is a 𝐏𝐲. Yeah, this is a Mama Ring. They were Mandy's master. The Mama Ring that treated Mandy as a real daughter. She was so sad, and this is her the living room in her house, and she also have the indigo dye workshops as well. So and then daytimes, the Mama Ring and the other female weavers gather in the house and making the weave together. So in the talking and daily, the stuff, yeah, language, yeah, and then listening to the sounds, and then this is a 𝐏𝐲. They gather every night to sing a song and drinking the moke and grill the tunas. Yeah, so the Mandy's work is embedded everything she experienced, during the marmoset, And this is the Pontiac, it's a 𝐏𝐮𝐥𝐢𝐜, yeah. You can just, go to next. Yeah. So this is the place we went for the research and to shoot a video. And the guy in the middle, yeah, this is his 287th birthday. He was alive. And then this is Logan Park. And this is the dome. And the whole of Philippines, I went with the Arma, and this is a Horo Island. To get the Horo Island, you need to take a boat in the evening. And then we arrived at 6 o'clock. And this is where the weavers are living. And this is actually, you can see the work on the Arma. So this is a very dangerous bridge to get to the weaver's house. I really, there's a lot of holes. Yeah, and this is a Lohina, it's a middle persons, it's a young weavers in the village. And she has her family, land the factory and then making these beautiful textiles. And the other one is also the other village. And this is almost like the contemporary art. It's a room, it's running.
It's better than contemporary.
Yeah. And I also thought so when I visited. Yeah. So, but this it's a weaving. It's not only about the objects. When we purchase the textiles in the shop, that's turned into the objects. But it's embedded in everything. It's their conversations, perhaps the emotions,
Yeah, that's why also, it's really challenge when the whole process of the project is actually basically through life experience, and then have to be shrink it into an exhibition. That's always the problem of the exhibition. I think. But I'm happy enough to like there is a smells, there is a sound, because once I said to Zoe and Miki as well, I think textiles should be there's a sonic element as well, and body as well. So I would like to have sound in the exhibition, and Mandy really captured that as well, and Prewangan as well. I think textile, if it should be shrink it or even amputate or reduct into an exhibition space, I think at least there should be some other sensorical element because I think it's totally, I would say wrong maybe now, just like to show textile just only as a textile. I think there's it's not enough because it's thank you Miziki to share this, because I think all the artists and I think all of us like experience textile also with other things. It never singular, and the problem with the exhibition is always detach that, you know, amputate that, or reduction, reductive. That's why, I hope. Yeah, I'm happy enough that there's a artist, you know, like 𝐏𝐮𝐥𝐢 works also with the sound, with the video, and then some others with, you know, there's a smells in it, there's a sound in it. I think that's actually the one that should be sort of like coexist with the textiles. I think we shouldn't, you know, like separate that with. I think we separate enough the textile practice from the natural, or like the its life. I think that's actually not the problem of that textile. It's the problem of exhibition, the problem of contemporary art. How to represent that. That's always a. I mean, like yesterday we spoke about how Papuan bar clothes, that you know actually the Papuan bar clothes as a piece on the wall. But when I asked Pak Agus Ongge, for example, one of the maestro of bar cloth painting, I forgot. I shouldn't say painting because it's not painting. It's actually a cloth. You know, it was like more or less around 80s when Suharto is trying to represent that as a something more wall oriented, more interior oriented, rather than, because it's in the beginning, it's, I mean, like naturally it's actually a cloth. Yeah, sorry, it's going. Yeah, please, Alma.
This is regarding the motifs that you were discussing earlier. In Sulu, the production of these motifs through the weavings of the pishabit, they're actually collective. It's actually considered as collective in terms of ownership, and they can either modify or they can keep the tradition. So it's very, but they respect. You know, they don't say correct, but because I've seen, if you can see the work, there are works that use there are pishabits that use the bats behind, you know, because in that area there are many bats because there are many trees, so that explains why. So they can modify, but the community is very supportive. So also sometimes they copy the work of the master. They saw it on Facebook, the post of Rohina, but Rohina said, well, there's no problem, it's a non-issue. And then I would also want to ask Lawe, because I like your products. I like even the label. I've read and I bought. And then may I ask, how were you able to design this? Because it's so, for me as an artist, it's so attractive, the color combination. So is it your weavers? Or before that also, may I tell everyone that when we started the project, when we were discussing the partnership with Asia Foundation, and I had a meeting with them in their office in Manila, they asked me, please consider Ruhina and the other weavers as artists. So artists, weavers are artists. So that's why I want to ask throw the question to the curators, because it's always like there's a divide. Thank you.
Okay, so your bag is coming from different motifs. Yeah, so we cut into like patchwork. So that's not coming from one piece of fabric. So that's why we combination. As I mentioned before, the crazy dancers are one of the inspiration where the color combination came from. So we have 8 different color combination inspired by the crazy dancer. One is the black, red and gray. The other one is navy blue and orange. The other one is green, orange, and more earth color. So we have 8 different color. We also still have another inspiration coming from the sajen. This is the gift, contains of flowers, coming from different flowers. And we also have 3 different color combination of the sajen series. That's why we want to bring the story attached to the product we have. While the lurik one, the technique of lurik weaving is the simplest one. So we try to add the story to make it more valuable to the product. Yes, that's also weaving. That's black with a filler threads, also black. So the original fabric width regularly is 70 centimeter width. 70 centimeter width, and the length is around 100 until 150 meters. It's very long. So we roll it with the looms, but not the back strap. The loom is using the foot. Yeah, that's more modern than the back strap or Mandy used in Maumere, right? Yeah, yeah, that's a simple one. Thank you. The artists about the arts and what do you think? Yeah. So your second question for Zoe and for the artist.
To a curator in the Philippines, can we consider the weavers as artists?
In my case, it's a yes. And for me, it matters if one artist know very well about the medium they use, because all the material they choose to make their art should be meaningful. And I think according to this criteria, then we can certainly say weavers are also artists. And however, consider what Adi just mentioned about storytelling. I think we are giving a lot of we are nowadays giving a lot of meanings to our pieces, which might not be recognizable if you don't read the text and you just see the artworks. And personally, for me, that is always a big challenge and big problem. If the work cannot speak for itself, then I'll have to rethink about if we still consider that a masterpiece. Yeah. So yeah, in my case, that's at this stage my explanation.
I don't want to generalize it, it depends on the individual actually. And cause like I wonder if I were there with you in the Asia Foundations, I wanted to ask why you don't want to them as call as an artist, because there is a reason behind. Is that? Yeah, yeah.
They wanted, like, because of that experience, they wanted her to be called as an artist. I think that's the reason why.
Ah, okay, okay. But, yeah, so that again, that is a kind of the queerness. Is it how you see them, their practice, or how you communicate with these people? And we also know that we have the many artists, but we sometimes doubt, are they really artists, the same? And then after we visited the Rohingya, she started to develop her own motif, right? I think that is, for me, she's kind of trying to access something from, from herself. I think I want to call it a kind of artistic practice rather than the copying, the inherited patterns. So it depends on the individual.
Yeah, I think I work a lot with non-artist artists. It's like dragging like for example in documenta, many of them even like they really surprised that it's actually we invite them because they clearly say like we are not an artist, but and then we see and then we approach it differently because for us what their practice is totally poetic. I think that's like for me personally that's how I see it. If there's imagination in it, if there's there's a language, there's a poetic language in it, that's totally artist. Like whatever the material, whatever the techniques, whatever the practice, even from that perspective, and then I can see even truck driver that it's really love their pickup truck drivers and then painting it beautifully. That's for me easily. There is imagination in it. There is love. There is language, poetic as well. I think that's how. Continue from what Mizuki said. Me personally, I will see it from that perspective, rather than as a profession or as a label. Because if we trap into label, there is many artists that it's bad enough that we shouldn't call artists, or the other way around. So yeah, like from my practice, I see it that way. But like, yeah, in my practice, I see them as collaborators more because we put poetic language contribution equally. Yeah. Anyone else? You're hungry? That's really. I think we should in a hurry, otherwise it's getting hot. No. If there is anyone? Otherwise, I want to have one last questions. Sir. Nanti ayo ngobrol. I think we touched upon this issue that I want to raise, but maybe can we go further? Like first, like about the keeping or like preserving the I will use this word so-called tradition because again it's also constructed, and we can, if we elaborate more, it can be also problematic, right? With the state, national, or ethno identity, or even colonial constructed identity or language. what we call tradition today. What your take on that in terms of, I mean, like for example, with the practice of indigenous Taiwanese weavers or makers and so on, how you, I mean, it can be something that is not related to your practice, but like how you see that evolve today. I don't know if I make myself clear, but
Well, Ade, thank you for mentioning this because we were talking about this. And in Taiwan's case, yeah, we were talking about that. A lot of tradition of weaving from indigenous tribes were stopped during the colonial era because at that time the colonizer would like to introduce industrial fabric, and they consider that a more productive way of making fabric. And they also brainwash that industrial things are better. Yeah. So a lot of people, they just stop weaving. So for my generation, there are many weavers, they didn't experience weaving, or they didn't learn weaving from their mother, but they're still trying to take back the skill and the tradition by studying through the fabrics from their great-grandparents or grandparents. Yeah. So we're now experience the timing of creating the tradition, because definitely that is something different from what it used to be like more than 100 years ago. But through learning from what we see, because we only have the fabric itself remained, not the and the loom remained, but maybe not the whole process and the oral history. Yeah. So they one case is that, for example, artist Yuma Taru. She actually traveled to a lot of museums in Europe or in Japan from the museum collections to study the Althea motif. Yeah, and it took her 40 years of doing this until today. And definitely for her, it's not like, she also knows very well that, of course, through all the studies and researches, she's trying to build up the knowledge for Althea tradition, but she also knows very well that it's not gonna be the same. Yes. So just like what you mentioned, that tradition is constructed, but it depends on the human will. If you construct it for personal interest, or you construct it for a longer consideration for the whole tribe. Yeah. Yeah.
Part of the reason so much knowledge of weaving in Entete, particularly around dyeing, has been lost is because during Orba, the batik sablon, so like much cheaper, produced in factories, replaced fabrics that take, you know, weeks or months to create. So why would you, how can you create those fabrics when there is a cheaper option? So I think that state intervention is a really important part of the story. So yeah, not so much about tradition, but about knowledges and practices and lost, lost knowledges, yeah.
In Lihan Studios case, that I just mentioned, quite actively participate a lot of international Marisol festival. That's how they also met Lawe in Santa Fe. in different cause. So I think, of course, for her, maybe it's personally it's kind of trying to take back something that belongs to the family, but but it's more. It's also very important that they're also building up this alliance from different Austronesian countries, learning from their experience and learning from what are still left today. Yeah, that's what I found very beautiful part of it.
Okay, guys. It's lunchtime. You wanna? Okay.
Sorry, I'm a bit late actually for the discussion, but I'm very interested in the discussion about the artists, how we call the participant or all the weavers are the artists. But as far as short as I know, because since 2019, I'm interested in weaving also. So I tried to read all of the some of the like texts about weaving in the past, but actually they don't know, like they don't know the term of the artist, but what they know is like all of the profession that involved within the weaving practice, like the weavers itself, and then the colorists, and then the pemintal, terus penjahit, all of the name of the profession is actually mentioned within the Sima scriptures. Yeah, in I think found within like 9th century or something, and then it also become a proof that actually all of that profession is actually profitable. I mean, all of the like the higher authority ask them for like paying taxes for the profession. So I think the weaving itself become very much like precious things back in the past. So yeah, I don't know if it's related with like how we want to describe, like call the artist as, or the weaver as the artist or as the profession. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we can. The thing, the categorization. I was like last night as well when I spoke with Mizuki about like you mentioned about the confusion of the categorization. I was just like, so who needs, like who actually the one who needs these categorizations? I mean, like it's for our museum, right? It's for cataloging, archive. I mean, like that's also the context of industry and also the context of archiving, and then that categorization it's emerge, right? But like, but I think there's a lot of practices actually really collaborative, like that's what Alma said. You know, like it's very collective. That it's there's not even one like singular credits or something. So it's like more community works. I think it's actually a challenge of, especially in contemporary art. I mean, like that's the challenge, because we sometimes very decisive on what it's art and what is not, and then also artists and not, and really less open towards other practice that it's been categorized or uncategorized. I think that's also a problem of, yeah, I mean, like, this is very broad, but like curators, for example. I mean, in Indonesia, it's just recent, right? Like, but there's exhibition far before when curators as a as a profession it exists. So like the practice is actually exists long time before the profession or before this category, right? So yeah, I think it's like a practice against, or like not against, like practice versus what is actually industry. I think the industry will evolve, but like I think the question is like how the contemporary art as industry, or like art as art world is actually have expanded, or like as open enough to really recognize or like respect the practice itself. That it's yeah, that's why I think the events, all the distribution of knowledge, it should be more open and more massive again, or like the discussion like this actually should be more and more, because otherwise it's sort of like something that always been, you know, not only repressed systematically, but you know, like even forgotten. That's also even worse. Thank you all for thank you everyone, Bu Fitria, Mbak Zoe, Mbak Mizuki. Thank you for joining our conversations, and we're going to have lunch ya? No.
Ya. Sudah, terima kasih. Terima kasih Mbak Fitri, Mbak Zoe, Mbak Mizuki, dan Mas. Yeah. Thank you once again for joining with us here. This conversation, of course, opens new pathways for reflection, dialogue, and connection. Tidal Weavers will be on view until 21st July 2026, and we warmly encourage you to return for the upcoming public programs with Lawe Indonesia on 11th of July. There is a workshop, Weaving for Life, and 𝐸𝐴 Contemporary Art Studies. Yes, before we conclude, we would like to invite everyone to join us for a group photos, and followed by sunny bright lunch together. So please stay, enjoy the exhibition, and continue the conversation over the chat meal. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Terima kasih semuanya. Terima kasih. Di sini aja.